Live at local morning radio, coming to you from the studios of Magic Broadcasting on Laird. This is the Kramer Show. This is the Kramer Show. The phone is now open, and the phone operators are standing by. Turn down your radio when you call. Pay attention and be ready to go. 850-233-9988.
I said if you're having the best time, yes, sir.
This is Kramer.
7:05. Normally would be we'd just click on over to the phone, and Scott Major would be on the telly. But today we've got him live and Insta smell. Scott Major, Brian Parúas in the studio this morning. Morning.
What's happening, baby?
How are you? How are you, Brian?
I'm still, I'm in awe of you. So
sure,
I'm looking at you. I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
It's really happening.
Well, sure. I mean, it's part of the aesthetically. I mean, I'm very intimidating, and I understand that.
I would have messed with you.
Yeah, no, and a lot of people are put off by my handsome, features on my face, my chiseled features.
Beautiful hair.
Of course, and don't let it throw you off. Now, this guy, I mean, he looks like he's working out every other 15 minutes.
I know.
You guys come in here, you tan, you're looking good. You were almost a pro tennis player?
Yeah, I went to college on a tennis scholarship, got a couple of sponsorships, played a little professional tennis before I went to law school. It was kind of a fun gig. Got to see the country.
Yeah.
Great. Loved it. Absolutely loved it.
How high was your ranking at one point? Like, what was the highest you ever ranked?
You are not going to believe this, but it was 69.
Really?
Yes.
You were ranked that high?
I was somebody at some point.
And he always puts the AC at 69 when he's traveling.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
No, I can't believe that. That's really cool. Both of you guys have very interesting stories, very interesting backgrounds. And Scott, you and I have talked. I was talking earlier. We went for 8 months talking about all these things, and your willingness to reach out and to actually help is phenomenal. So today, not only do we have this show, tomorrow we'll have 2 hours, but then after today at 1 o'clock at that Cajun place. Brian, are you going to be there?
That Cajun?
Yeah.
I'm there.
Oh, you're going to be there too.
He loves that place.
My favorite place.
He just
It's
loves
great.
it.
Fantastic.
Really good. So we'll be there, and then Scott will be handing out books, signed autographed copies of his motivational book. We'll be talking about a lot. The insurance company debacle, you and I, now that we're face-to-face, is that running you ragged? I mean, do you guys have like a staff of 100 people that are, just dial, What's happening?
It is insane when you think about how many people in this area or in the Panhandle that have not been fully paid and were just stupefied by the experience that they've had. And I just, if you hearken back to when you and I first started talking about this, there was just an overall disbelief that they would need someone like me. There was a belief that, hey, the insurance company's going to come out, as you and I joked, they're going to back up the 18-wheeler, they're going to drop off the money. I don't know who this guy is on the radio or in person on the show telling me that I might need a lawyer or that companies wouldn't pay. That's lunacy. And, it's just when you see the thousands and thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of claims that have yet to be fully paid, it is really saddening. And in some cases, there's validity to not paying, in that they don't have a coverage or they haven't provided information. But for our experiences, your and my experiences, most of the hundreds or thousands of people we speak to, they seem like they have really valid claims and they're just not being paid.
Well, I think it's also important to say what you said, in that there are times where people are not owning up to their part of the deal and giving the insurance company the valid information. On the other hand, the insurance, on the other flip side of that coin, sometimes, and I've seen it, no, my gosh, I'm leading you into an answer, but the insurance company will make it that so they need stuff that the other person, the policyholder, can't possibly even understand what they need.
Right. They'll say, please provide us with a proof of loss. Like, whoa, what is that? I mean, a proof of loss. And or they'll say, we need your coverage D information, or we need the identification of your contents along with the pricing of each item that you bought with, multiple estimates, or they'll use the expression, we need an estimate, and people don't even know what that is. Or, as we found in thousands of cases, clients saying, hey, when I heard estimate, I thought it meant the insurance company's the person they send out, and not me creating my own estimate that would be a full value estimate. And it's really unfortunate, and I think shocking to many people, really shocking, was the amount of workers, if you will, the people who working for the insurance company that didn't have a adjuster job before the storm. Yeah. And they're coming in from different places, and they're not that qualified, and they're doing estimates, or they're using a software program called Xactimate, just punching in information, and it comes up with estimates that are, let's just say, far less than anybody thinks is reasonable or could possibly be used to pay. And then you think about 6, 7, 8, 9 months of interest on $1 billion or $100 million that you haven't paid out. It becomes a tragic situation that just, it upsets us, and we really think that the Panhandle, and in this case Panama City in the Bay County, should really be rebuilt, and those monies should be flowing in sooner. And certainly I've done every possible thing in my power, as well as the entire team, to try to expedite the resolution and try to empower people with education, even if you're not hiring me, to know what to do, to know how to, for lack of a better word, steal the intelligence that we're giving and use it to your advantage. And we think it's made a profound impact, but I can't tell you how many people have called that are not just residents, they're condo owners, they're business owners, they're condominium developments, they are landowners, they are public adjusters, vendors, roofers, contractors, restoration companies that we now have as clients. And if you harken back right after the storm, none of all those people are advocates for us because they had their own interests in mind. But I'm just telling you that in the end, if you get great, savvy help, I think you get paid in the lion's share of situations, because you're going to experts or specialists that know what they're doing, and they're able to really leverage the situation to your advantage. And everybody just wants to be rebuilt. Everyone wants their lives back, and the lives back is not just fixing your house. It's having the emotional and spiritual, feelings back that, hey, my life is back to normal.
Mike Rump, Continental Public Adjusting, he was on the show for months and months. And by the way, I can't say enough great things about them. They are just sweethearts of people. I mean, they are some of the best people you ever meet.
Yeah, he's called us uncles.
And I was going to say, I know that he reached out to us, and we put you guys together. He came in one day, and he had a picture of this house, and the house was basically blown away. It was basically a wall, and then everything else was just completely demolished. And he had a letter from the insurance company to the owner of the home, and it was a one-page letter, and they wanted him to give them an itemized list of everything that they were going to have to buy and use to put that back together. Now, if you send me a letter and say, hey, I want a list of everything you're going to use to put your house back together, past getting through a hammer and some nails and some wood, I don't know. I don't know what that.
Absolutely.
So that's what they wanted, and so that's part of the the deal. To me, that's just ridiculous, because, in other words, you're not going to do anything about it unless you hire a Mike Rump, or and now in this case, Mike Rump's reaching out to you to get a lawyer. So I think a lot of people are in that situation, and they don't know really what to do.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think it's a tragic, sort of commentary editorial on what's going on. I'll tell you that a lot of times when we resolve claims, we get the case, Brian will pick up a phone, call the desk level adjuster on the phone, and he'll tell them, you really don't want, Scott Major, you really don't want us to be suing you, and because it's going to be very costly.
Just that?
We play the bad cop, worst cop, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I goes, well, Scott will try any case.
Hey, can you hop up right on the mic?
Am I on the mic?
Here.
Hello.
Yeah, I got you.
Can you hear me now?
So
my voice?
when you call up, you actually personally called the desk level adjuster.
I do.
And then that conversation goes like what?
It goes really well. Listen, if you're going to be in the area after we sell this claim, I'll buy you a beer. But right now, we got to get this hammered out. we're on good terms. It's typically the same adjusters over and over and over again on different plans.
So you kind of know them after a while, right?
You get to know them. You build a relationship. They know that we're not a firm that is red flagged in a system for being unscrupulous and doing unethical things. So they rather do business with people that they like and trust. But at the end of the day, if you're watching the news, I had an adjuster the other day calling in and saying, "Hey, Brian, let's get this resolved." I'm like, "Great." He goes, "Where are you calling me from?" Because I always try to find out where they are. Because I'm in Arkansas. My entire insurance company is underwater. I live in the mountains, and I'm trying to adjust this claim and get it done, but we're underwater. So we forget that they have limited resources as well, and a lot of these people that are in the insurance business are just shorthanded and suffering as well. This is case in point. Major insurance carrier, the entire office flooded out. Underwater.
Wow. So,
I mean,
I heard to a public adjuster, they went to a conference down, I want to say in Orlando, and there was a bunch of public adjusters, a bunch of insurance people there, and they're just walking around doing a conference kind of thing, and everything is kind of jovial. And then all of a sudden, these people, they get into an argument about from the insurance company, the people on the insurance company side were debating the people on the public adjusting side whether or not a window can be damaged from wind. And none of the people on the insurance side would ever, admit that a window could be damaged from the wind. It's insanity.
It is lunacy. And when you mention windows, I tell every listener every time I get a chance to that the lion's share of windows in this city and in this county have been damaged in a manner that should be either repaired or replaced, and most of the time it's replacement. People just have no idea that just because your window is not broken, just because there's not a hole in the window or it's not cracked, does not mean there's not substantial damage to that. Just imagine the positive and negative pressures of wind at 160 miles an hour moving back and forth on that window sill and on the framing of that, and depending on what type of window you have, and most people don't have brand new windows. These homes are a little older. The way they seat these windows and the way in which they put them in place, the windows move and you have problems. And what we see commonly is that another 6 months from now, a year from now, you'll start to have leaks around that area, or you'll have some whistling sound, or you'll have other types of problems. And then go try to get to an insurance company 2 years from now and tell them it was from the storm, and good luck in proving that. So we tell people that it's not just the obvious damage of a roof being torn off. There's a lot of latent or hidden damage that you need to make sure you have evaluated on your house. And if you just think about it from a good example is if you took a paper clip out and you bent it 4 or 5 times, it wouldn't necessarily break yet. But everyone who's listening would agree that is extremely weak and it's eventually going to break. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be the same once you bend that paperclip. It's the same mentality, and that's why it's so important to be thorough about getting a complete and detailed estimate and pursuing your claim. And if you do, you'll get the max amount of money that is permitted under your insurance contract, and you can make the repairs that you need to make. And I want to reiterate again, a lot of times when we're in litigation, when we have to sue or we take over a case, a lot of times the insurance company has to pay our fees. And so the irony of this entire discussion from day one is it actually may be cheaper to have a lawyer from day one than it would to have anybody else. No disrespect intended to a public adjuster or anybody else, but we are the only people who can get recovery of our attorney's fees if we're successful. And so how ironic it is that some of the most successful lawyers are the ones that may end up, quote, charging you the least. Putting aside the fact that you would have tremendous peace of mind when you have a lawyer who knows what they're doing and can understand the insurance policy that 99% of lawyers have no idea how to read.
Got to take a break. 850-233-9988. Scott Major, Brian Parúas from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team live in the studio today. So if you want to pick their ear, you can do it both here on the show and then later at Dat Cajun Place at 1 o'clock today.
Dat Cajun
Place. We'll be back.
Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Kramer will be back. NewsTalk at 101.
Hello?
You're on the air?
Hello, you're on the air.
The Kramer Show.
233 99 88.
The Kramer Show. The Kramer Show.
You appear intelligent, but when you open your mouth, the effect is spoiled.
722, Scott Major, Brian Parúas, in the studio from Major Parúas and the Storm Health Team. Anna, what's going on? I thought you were screaming about something.
Me?
Yeah,
Huh?
what's going on?
Nothing. I'm fine.
You sure
and
you're
dandy.
okay?
Checking me
No,
out.
it's these guys. You didn't tell me how handsome these men were.
Oh, God,
I'm a
here
little
I go.
upset.
I knew it. I knew there was a thing.
So for all the people that, they're like, oh, well, maybe I don't know if I need to go out. You need to go out. You need to go to that Cajun place
do,
today
man.
and hang out
I'm
with
single.
these fellas.
I'm single.
And ready to mingle?
Okay? And ready to mingle.
Heyo.
He's mingling tonight.
Yeah, we're trying to set up Scott Major with a beautiful girl.
Do you have game?
What?
Do you have game?
No, but
Give me your best
but-
pickup line.
You're beautiful.
Oh, okay.
That would work.
I don't have really much there. I'm just a nice fellow.
Now, when you
trying to meet a nice
I'm not
person.
kidding. When you do you go to bars and stuff, and do you have a game? Do you have an approach?
Plan of attack.
Yeah, plan of attack. Do you do that?
I don't. I don't have a very good game. I'm a good guy, but what I
Do
try
you
to
wait
do.
for them to come talk to you, or do you go talk to them? Are you shy?
I'm shy. I'm shy when
Oh
it
my
comes to
God,
that.
He's very shy. He's very shy.
Amazingly enough, and that's
How
why I
are you
need the
so-
help. That's why she's coming to Dad Cajun to auction me off.
To auction you. Okay.
Okay, so I mean,
Do we know anybody
so
that's
please.
single that would be worthy of dating?
This
Brian?
is the important thing.
Or,
No, not me.
Scott Major.
Don't do that to me.
Worthy enough.
Yeah.
I mean,
come
they're
on.
very good looking. You
what I'm
really
saying.
should have warned me.
I'm not saying that.
I think we
You're
have
the best.
I'm
we got one for you.
upset because I'm upset. I would have tried harder.
Wow, you're
a little
verklempt,
harder
man.
this morning.
That's
They're
so
so
awesome.
handsome.
That's so awesome.
She never does that to
I
me.
love this girl.
I don't ever get the right act.
No, but I think
love
you
this
donuts.
girl.
Be here because you're just so handsome. I just can't sit still. Look at her. She's like a little girl.
Oh,
Wow.
Everybody
I'm not a
needs to
little
come.
girl. I'm a woman. Don't do
Everybody
this to me.
needs to come to Dad Cajun. What she's signaling is that everybody needs to come.
Yes,
especially
everyone.
single, beautiful people.
Yes, and if you're married, don't let your wife go alone because they are so good looking.
Wow.
You're going to be so disappointed when you get there. I'm kidding. I'm joking.
That's great. You're the best. You're the best, man. Really, it's great.
Anna's awesome. So, it's at 1 o'clock today. So, by the way, what do people need to bring? Oh, you and I had this conversation yesterday, but to reiterate, if you're going to come out, what should you have?
Yes, if you have anything that you want us to review in terms of the insurance policy, the correspondence that you've had with anyone, whether that's between you and the insurance company, you and any vendor, you and any adjuster, if you've gotten anything back that explains why it is they haven't paid you, a proof of loss is usually required, and that is that one-page piece of paper that explains or swears under oath that these are your actual damages. This is what you believe you're owed. If you have any specific questions you want to ask about photographs or about damage to property or about coverage A under structures or coverage B under other structures or contents coverage under coverage C or your ALE or your coverage D, your additional living expenses, you can bring that in. You can bring your insurance policy in. You can even ask questions about insurance that we're going to talk about for 2 hours tomorrow in terms of, what are the kinds of things I should be getting, or can I get some discounts by arguing that, I fix some things that don't need repair as much. For example, a brand new roof, which is one of the biggest expenditures. If you have a brand new aluminum roof or a brand new roof on your building or on your home, those are the kinds of things that we can talk to you about. You also get a chance to, see the motivational books that I've written. The last two I'm bringing, two books I've written, not the last two books that are in existence, but the last two books. One's called You Are the Best, and the most recent one is called Motivate, MOTIV, with an 8 after it. Selling billions from Amazon.
And I'm thinking of writing a book myself. It's going to be called or titled, You're Not That Bad.
Yeah, I think
Or You're Pretty Good.
that's a good book.
Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
You're not that bad. You're
Yeah.
okay.
Only pictures.
yeah, only pictures. No words at all.
No words.
It's like that movie Dune, where they didn't even speak the entire movie or
Yeah,
something.
that's-
one of those things. I mean,
Well, for
try.
Generation Z.
They
right.
like that.
Generation ZZZ, maybe. So I think it's Brian. Really, what I'd like you
It's
to do
okay
is,
to cry.
yeah, Brian. Can you tell us a little bit about, when you have all these, dozens or hundreds of phone calls with these adjusters? What do the adjusters like to hear? What are they telling you about what they need so that we can help educate the listeners and just the overall experiences that you're having so people get sort of a firsthand approach of what that's like, when we're actually talking to them or convincing them that they need to pay the claim or pay more on the claim or to get them the information they need.
I feel like the adjusters are very intuitive. They know when you're there for the right reason. They feel you out. A couple phone calls into it, they know what you're all about. And again, the first couple of phone calls don't even talk about the claim. It's just getting to know the adjuster. They get to know a little bit about us. I talk about how fast Scott used to run the 40 in 4.29 seconds. Yes. That's more interesting to them than talking about the hurricane claims.
And listeners, let me just interrupt before he goes on. Brian is the absolute master negotiator. You have never seen anything like it in your life. It's like Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods or Wayne Gretzky.
Of that. I stink at negotiating.
It's unbelievable, his negotiation skills. But I didn't interrupt you. That's some parenthetical commentary. You go back to, so he makes the connection through that.
That's what I do. I usually
Scott knows words like parenthetical. Just one point out.
Sorry. They're in the air. But, the key to these things is really the relationship building with the adjusters. They get to know us, get to know the firm. I never look them in the eye. I never talk about the issues. And never let them speak. That's kind of my 3 rules when I'm negotiating. And before you know it, we're just talking about money. How much money do you need, Brian? Okay. And let me give you some backup. Will an email work? Sure. Now that they know me, they trust me. They don't even want the receipt. They don't even want the itemization. They trust us.
Wow.
I don't know if it's because of my government service or, when I was an air marshal. I don't know what it is, but I talk about that too. That's a big part of who I am. I think it shows that I didn't just go to law school and became an attorney and now you should trust me. No, I was on an airplane with a gun, helping guard America, even though I'm short, scared of heights, and terrified of flying. But you know what? I did that. I think that adds a level of credibility.
And let's talk about that in a little bit because it's very interesting, Brian's background too. We'll be back. Scott Major, Brian Parúas in the studio.
This is the Kramer Show on Panama City's information station, NewsTalk at 101.
It's Alex Jones from InfoWars, and you're listening to the Gorilla Kramer on NewsTalk 101.
Alex Jones, you talk about a guy who's probably got a team of lawyers on his side. Got kicked off of YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Guy can't go 10 minutes without somebody suing him. Scott Major, Brian Parúas in the studio, Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. These gentlemen are here and have been here for months and months to help you. So we have open phones today. You can call up, get on the air with them, 850-233-9988. We're going to be at Dat Cajun Place at 1 o'clock today.
Dat Cajun.
Dat Cajun.
That Cajun shrimp tastes mighty good.
Oh, it's good. It's good.
Tastes mighty good.
That's
Jason,
great stuff.
Jason, welcome in, bro. Do you guys like crawfish?
I do.
Scott?
Steak.
I like everything. Anything from Nolan's,
hamburgers.
I love. Give it to me.
Jason, what's up?
Yeah, I was wanting to ask Scott Major, is there any kind of insurance that you can buy that covers everything, whether it be wind, rain, hurricane, tornado, flood, fire, lightning strike, or rhinoceros runs through your house, you and your neighbor have a dispute and he tosses a stick of dynamite through the window, that they pay out without question, regardless of what happens?
The answer is a qualified yes. They do have rhinoceros insurance.
Great.
But yes, you can buy tremendous amounts of coverage. Just about everything is insurable at a price. You'd be surprised at how some of these, what they call all risk insurance policies, they'll cover just about all risks. And for certain situations, they may not cover, but the lion's share of things, yes, can be covered at a price, and you'd be surprised.
10-4, brother. Appreciate it.
Hey, have a great day, man. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Well, tomorrow we'll be talking about specific insurance questions, and it'll be helpful. And we've been saying we're going to do that for months and months, and we're finally going to do it tomorrow. So you can call up and ask specific questions. And Scott, you're going to give out information, tips. You're going to call out insurance companies.
I'm going to talk
the good,
about
the bad, the ugly.
I'm going to talk about what motivates insurance companies. And also, as Brian started talking earlier, he'll be there too to talk a little bit about, if you're going to be communicating with insurance companies, let's say you're not hiring us or you don't want us to help you, Brian will give you some specific tips, and I will too, about, what is it that the adjusters at the insurance company, what do they look for? And how do you deal with an adjuster or an insurance company that just isn't responding to you or isn't giving you the answers you want or says, I'm not providing coverage, but not explaining why? What is the thing you should actually do that will either put them on the defensive or make them explain what the law requires them to do, and that is to pay or to show you why they are not paying, to explain why the exclusion that they're arguing about has application. Because if they don't do that, they can suffer those terrible two words we've talked about called bad faith. And that those two words are two powerful words, meaning that if the insurance company does not act reasonably and seasonably, they do not act in a reasonable way, do not pay in a timely way, they can suffer a penalty that can be the loss of their license or suspension of the license or other types of financial penalties, as well as having to pay you as much as 3 times the amount of the underlying payment plus your attorney's fees plus other possible damages. So trying to help them and empower people is an important thing in an area that is so complicated, that if you don't have expertise on your side, you are at a disadvantage. And it's a call out and a scream out to everybody who's listening that you need to be empowered. If you haven't been paid, please, I'm begging you, I'm imploring you, get a lawyer involved. It's not going to be us, fine. Hire your favorite lawyer who's going to go out there and be aggressive. Get a hold of those insurance, agents and adjusters. Talk to them, as I mentioned with Brian. Brian mentioned, that when you develop a reputation, and you can speak to this, Brian, how they respond to you when they know that the law firm is credible. And tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, really, it just comes down to your word, what you've done, and they look you up. They go on your Facebook, your social media. So you got to be careful what you put out there as well. So they see that I'm a family man. I take the kids to the practices, and I'm involved in the school. That's what I do. I've been married 20 years now to my high school sweetheart. Hey, Julie, what's up, baby? But
hey, Julie,
we are. Hey, Julie, hello.
What's happening, baby?
We definitely are just the old school mentality of family first. Help your neighbor, and I think that we produce that. We show that every day. My best friend Scott Major, he's my law partner. It's weird. He's like my law husband. It's strange, but I don't think we could do what we do if we didn't love each other.
Husband.
My law husband. If we didn't love each other.
Are you guys about to embrace?
Maybe.
What's about
maybe
to happen?
after the show, because we got all these wires. We got a lot of wires hanging. But if they feel that too. So if he's not my best friend and we're just business partners, it's a different dynamic, and people sense that as well.
Now, we talked a little bit about Scott's background. What is your background? Because you, the interesting part about what I've learned about you so far is that you became an air marshal, but you hated flying and were scared of planes.
Yeah.
How in the hell
Tell us about that.
It was just one
Tell
of
us.
those.
Black Ops.
It was a fluke. Can't talk about it. Can't talk about it. So listen, I developed.
You were a spy.
I used to deliver pizza in bad neighborhoods
Collusion.
for Domino's. That's how I started. No,
That's
I was a stock boy. I was a valet. Okay, I married my wife. I was a valet parker. Okay.
He met his wife when he was 4.
Yeah,
okay?
something like that.
I was going to say,
only girlfriend ever.
I was taller.
Oh, really?
I was taller than her when we met, and then she ended up growing on me, and she's an inch taller now. So it's kind of like you can't wear heels, but you can. Bad for pictures, though.
True.
Yeah, so I worked for Senator Jim Scott, former Senate President of the state of Florida, very powerful man. I was the first guy he ever hired to work for him. 4 interviews later, I got the job.
How old were you then?
8, right out of college. Very impressive individual. Loved him like a second father. Good man. After he retired, it's kind of frowned upon to work for other members when you work for a powerful guy. And I had applied to work for Department of Justice, Marine Enforcement Division over with INS back then, which is CBP now, working the Miami River and the Port of Miami doing drug interdictions and stowaway operations. It's made no money, had a blast though. Thinking back, probably was a little more dangerous than I thought it was at the time, jumping over container vessels, finding cocaine inside these big drums and propane tanks.
Amazing how much drugs that they found on the port.
And
Absolutely incredible.
And those guys at the Marine Unit in Miami, a shout out to them, the old school guard. I mean, if I see them in Publix, they will tackle me. And these guys are now in their 50s and knock me out. They're just tough guys, But,
right.
After that, we we spent some time, guarding the port, which was great. And when 9/11 happened, I still remember where I was. We were at a muster. It was a crew muster. All of our guys were together, and we saw what was happening on live TV.
What's a muster?
Muster is like we call it we call it mustard.
Like mustard?
Not mustard. Okay. It's like what they do on ships. They muster the crew, and we have a meeting. So we have
MUSTER.
You got it.
To
mustard.
adding a D
like
with an A.
No Gouldens.
No.
Which I like.
No Grey Poupon?
Little.
Okay.
But of course.
Anyway.
So I saw what happened. I'm like, I got to do more. Like, I wasn't a military guy, and I felt like there was a calling. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to be an air marshal. Didn't tell anyone. Didn't tell my parents. Didn't tell my wife. All of a sudden, I applied. I got selected because I had some
By the way, hated flying.
Hated flying.
Hated heights.
I used to fly every week with Senator Campbell, God rest his soul, and terrified and sat back of the King Air shivering for 2 hours flying to Tallahassee.
Oh, that's miserable, bud.
Miserable.
Ugh.
So I decided I'm going to apply. They sent me this nondescript envelope with one ticket to go and interview. You're going to go to this airport. You see a guy with a clipboard standing under a red sign.
It's really
go to him and give him this number. Huh?
Really
and I look around, 300 guys in the same airport, this little crappy airport in the middle of nowhere, with their high and tights, all jacked up. And I would go to hey, what are you here for? None of your business. What are you here for? I'm like, it's the same thing, man. We're here going to try to be air marshals, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you. So we jump on a bus, head to the training center in New Jersey, FAA training center, and they tell us you're going to take a mental health screening for 3 hours. It's like 11 o'clock at night.
Ugh.
If you fail, we'll knock on your door at 5 a.m. You're on the bus and you're out of here. But the problem was you have to quit your federal job to apply for this job. So if you don't get hired, you're out of a job.
Wow.
Crazy.
You're just see ya.
See you later.
High and dry, you're gone.
Bye now. Anyway, I'll speed it up. So then, we go out there, I train, I qualify, and they literally give me a gun. Here you go. Here's your badge, and you're flying back to the Miami office where you're going to work. And I'm like, this is really happening. I got a gun on. I'm on an aircraft. I hate flying, terrified of heights, and I'm an air marshal. About 3 months into the job, I got over it. I mean, thousands of flights. And again, the guys I work with, the ladies and gentlemen I work with were some of the greatest people in the world. They bled the flag, and they were there not for the money. They were there because of what happened.
And what was the weapon of choice that they assigned you?
We carried the same weapon as the Secret Service. The 6-hour P229,
right.
357.
Right.
That's what we all carried. It's no secret. It's been on 2020. That's the weapon that was tested to protect the president. And then again, we used to protect the flight deck on the aircraft. That was our job.
Powerful gun.
Protect the flight. Very accurate. Never jammed. Now, the Italian Tomahawk I used to carry for immigration.
That's a different story.
Yet you're better off throwing it at that.
That's right. That weapon is much more useful to throw than it is to fire.
That 40 cal would just jam on you. After about 50 rounds, it would just jam. Horrible.
Right.
The 6-hour, never. Thousands. I got so tired of shooting. I didn't shoot.
They had to requalify all the time.
I was going to ask, how often do you have to requalify?
So we shot every week, qualified every month. If you didn't qualify twice, they took your weapon away and you were fired. See you later.
Yeah. Well,
so nobody.
So intense.
Everybody was an expert shooter. And I was an expert shooter coming in, and I was nothing compared to the guys that were already there.
I mean, just incredible.
Nothing.
You cannot miss.
The groupings were like this tight, and unbelievable.
This tight meaning.
But are you
very tight?
Quarter.
I would assume on that level, then you're going to training where you're it's not target practice. I mean, you're going
right.
You're going
it's
training.
It's intense. Shoot and move drills. Pepper poppers. I mean, you're like do. I mean, it's just 6-round rhythm drills. It was legit. It was stressful.
Did you ever have to put somebody down on an airplane?
Well, it's funny. I did more arrests working for ICE for Department of Justice than I ever did working for TSA and FAA. We really were there to be that gray man, just blend in, be a good witness, and re-hijack that aircraft if someone is there. We knew if that happened, it would be a bad day. I would meet with my partner beforehand. I go, listen, if something happens, we're meeting the president today. I got your back, you got my back. That was it. It was that serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, very serious. So,
did as an air marshal, do you have to intervene if somebody's drunk and rowdy? Or do you let yourself be known?
Sometimes.
That's a great question. Post 9/11 or right after it happened? No.
No, right.
It was, this is your mission. Nobody gets near that door. That was it. Take a pod, a position of dominance at the front of the aircraft, and nobody gets near that door. We're going to land that aircraft one way or another. Now, that was the job.
Now, here's an important question to follow up on that. It is post 9/11. Been years. Do you feel like we're too lenient back again? Because I kind of do. I mean, we have forgotten some of the seriousness of 9/11 in a way.
I would say we have many layers of security. That's the one benefit. We have many layers, from the screening to the air marshals to the flight attendants. Believe it or not, these people, my hat's off to the flight attendants, flight crews, the captains, first officers. They are really there for your safety. Not to get you a Coke or a bottle of water. They are trained to facilitate your safety. They know what to do. So these folks, listen, every time Scott will tell you, we board an aircraft, we're bringing cookies. We are giving out to all the flight attendants because we know how tough that job really is. And they know what they're doing. And so they're part of the layers of security. At the end of the day, they are there for, number one, for your safety.
Did you ever have to knock somebody out on an airplane?
The closest we ever got was,
elbow them right in the skull.
we were flying to London, and we had some folks who were detained in Miami. It was the worst 8 hours of my life. We had these guys who were, not the stereotype, but they were from Middle Eastern descent, and they were, had a GPS and writing coordinates when we got over DC. And
on the plane, they're writing
on the plane. And so the threat back then was they're going to build an explosive device. They're going to piecemeal at the front laboratory of the aircraft. So one guy would go in, and then another guy went in, and I'm like, oh my God, they're building a bomb. And we're like, back then we had Bluetooth before anybody else had, so we're like, Bluetooth, take a soft pod. He goes, Brian, break leather. So I'm over here.
Translation for break leather.
Break leather is get your gun out of your holster.
Whoa.
And I used to carry with a belly band across my chest. So I had the imprint for like 3 years after I left the service.
Yeah.
And I broke leather, and I'm here underneath my shirt with like this. I flew like this for 8 hours with my hand on my chest.
Yeah, he's got hands crossed.
Finger off the trigger, ready to go. I got my partner up there for like 7 hours looking at me. We had like 4 air marshals or 5, many air marshals on this flight, big plane. And we flew like that for 8 hours. We called secret police in London. They showed up to meet the aircraft. We're out, badges out, guns out. Like, hey guys, we're the air marshal. I'm like, we're not here for you. I go, what do you mean you're not here for us? No, we're here for these guys. They're visiting dignitaries from some big Bahrain air, and they started laughing at us like we were a bunch of clowns. And
oh my God!
As London Customs comes up and takes our weapons, it counted every bullet. We're off the plane, and we're regular civilians again. Horrible,
right?
That is like something out of a movie, right?
It is. It was ridiculous.
But that's how they have to be on guard, and that's why they're protecting you so that you can get on a plane and not think twice and really have a great life. And that's why he's such a great partner and a great person.
Right back at you, brother.
Yeah.
You too, Kramer.
Can I just say, y'all's bromance is the best thing ever. Like,
That's so cool.
You guys together are awesome.
I think the 3 of us, or the 4 of us.
The 3 amigos.
3 amigos.
Amigos
locos.
4 of us together at that occasion, all 4 of us.
Arriba.
All right.
We got to,
Try the dry rub wings. They're delicious.
Dry rub wings?
Dry rub.
Oh,
so good.
Sounds great. All right, we got to take a break. 850, if you want to hop on the air, 850-233-9988. Scott Major, Brian Parúas from Major Parúas and the Storm Help Team. Dak Cajun plays at 1 o'clock today. More to come.
This is better than anything else on the air in the mornings in Panama City.
Hear that? Maybe he's not so great. Maybe he sucks.
More with Kramer in the morning. Next on NewsTalk at 101.
Oh, baby, let's get down tonight.
7:53. Yeah, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had to.
I guess.
Sorry.
I think Anna's all hopped up on these two guys this morning.
That's for you, Julie.
It's a big day.
Little Marvin.
Yeah, that was a dedication.
Love you.
Scott. Brian. Baby, I love you. Scott Major, Brian Parúas, Major Parúas, and the Storm Help Team. It's been a fun hour. They're going to be out at that Cajun place. I'll be there today. Anna, you coming or what are you doing?
Now she is.
Now I will. No, but you got to get there early. It starts at 1, right?
Yeah.
You better be there early.
You're going to want to get there early. That way you get a good seat. That way you can look at these two handsome gentlemen.
I am wearing Spanx.
Ooh. Sorry, wife. Sorry.
So you can bring out, your insurance policy. You can hang out with these guys, and you can get a signed book from Scott Major. And in fact, I think we've got the boxes of books ready to go. So it'll be cool. It'll be great. It'll be educational. You look like you were going to say something else.
No,
He's always saying something.
Dat Cajun.
Dat.
I mean, I'm excited, and it's going to be great. And I mean, I think everybody should come. This is a great opportunity. It really is. And also, too, it's going to set up for tomorrow, so that when we talk about the, insurance policy and stuff, we can really get some education and empower people in a neat way. And like I say, I wanted to make sure that when I was here live, that I said to you, Kramer, that I can't tell you how much we appreciate. And I'm speaking for the clients that I get a chance to represent too. We appreciate what you've done in terms of your commitment to helping, the Panhandle and Panama City with this empowerment and with educating people about insurance and giving a forum to people like us to really help a lot of people, because I think we've helped thousands or tens of thousands of people through these messages, and it wouldn't have happened if you hadn't taken a personal interest in us and in the situation.
Well, thank you for saying that. That's very kind of you. I will tell you, I have had so many. It's interesting to see how since you've been on the air, at how people talk about you, and I hear you in different, in the background sometimes, and your name comes up so often. And people have a genuine curiosity about you because you didn't come on the air to try to be like a radio guy. You came on the air to inform people. And behind that willingness to inform people was, or not the willingness, but that was why you came on. You wanted to help out. And I think that has been very, very telling, because it was always, and it has been genuine.
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the fun part, to see how it's grown over the past several months. So if you have heard Scott Major on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you've never met him, today will be that opportunity. And then tomorrow we'll have both Brian and Scott back in the studio for 2 hours.
Ooh, again?
Yes. Yeah.
I got to practice.
And I'll guarantee you, Anna will be dressed up tomorrow.
I will look way better
She'll
tomorrow.
have on.
I'm doing push-ups tonight.
Oh.
It's great. It's a great thing, and I'm so happy that you think that we've contributed and we've helped people, because it's really our mission. We really want to feel like we're giving something back and doing something.
Well, listen,
great.
I can tell you from experience talking to the folks in Panama City, these are the toughest people I've ever met in my life. They really are. I can tell you from
the citizenry here you're talking
they're
about.
amazing. So, walking down the street when the storm first hit, I'm out there meeting folks who had called us to come by their homes, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? I go, I'm doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good. Okay. Your house is destroyed. Yes. You're living in a pod, but you're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
That's one tough mother right there.
And I tell you, too, I think the people here are way too nice for their own good. And I think they finally have realized that, by being nice, it's not getting anywhere with the insurance company.
They just take advantage of you.
Get Major involved immediately.
No, it's not a bad idea. I heard he's pretty good. He's a major guy.
Yeah.
All right, look, Dad Cajun plays today at 1 o'clock. Bring anything you can if you got your policy. I mean, I'm sure they're not going to
photographs, including photographs of your friends.
Listen, at the end of the
not
day,
just photographs of the property.
Don't listen to him. So at the end of the day, remember this: you're going to want to meet us first, shake our hand. I understand before you show us your personal information. I get the Panama City folks. Let's shake hands. Let's meet. Let's hug, and then in the second meeting, maybe you'll show us your policy. I don't know.
All right,
just put it out there.
Just to clarify, he said policy. Because it was. And with that, ladies and gentlemen,
awesome.
Scott Major, Brian Parúas, thank you, fellas.
Thanks for all you do, man. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Thank you so much.
This is live at local morning radio. This is Kramer.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.